Pickle.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
I was putting up your lower third. I thought that's what you wanted. What do you want from me?
It's time to roll out the Week 7 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football State Rankings. These are the official rankings of Texas High School football. We are the official rankings provider of the Associated Press, have been for about 5 years now. And, yeah, we take these very seriously, assembled by the Dave Campbell's Texas football staff. Again, for a week with a lot of open dates, and you'll see those kind of scattered hither and yon, especially in a couple of these, there is some movement. There's some pretty significant movement in the rankings that I think is going to be interesting to watch. So let's roll out the Week 7 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School football rankings, starting with Class 6A, where the big headline is, of course, Atascosa's win over Summer Creek. That vaults them to number 5 in the state, up into a top 5 position behind Duncanville, North Shore, North Crowley, DeSoto, and now Atascocita. Summer Creek tumbles to 8th in the rankings, so they basically flip-flop 5 and 8 there. Everyone else more or less was a winner. Euless Trinity, despite not playing, it's very Texas of them. Like, they didn't play, but they vaulted up. They moved from 25 to 21 in the rankings. It was a shootout win for Cibolo Steel over East Central. They remain the same at number 20, at number 21. Denton Geyer falls from number 20 to number 23 after their loss to Coppell. San Antonio Brennan remains the same at number 24. And new to the rankings, as Cy Springs crashes out of the rankings with their loss to Bridgeland. New to the rankings, the Oilers of Pearland, who are 5-1 after their win over rival Pearland Dawson. There it is, your Class 6A top 25. To 5A we go, where there is a new number 1 in 5A Division 1, and new boss, same as the old boss. The Aledo Bearcats return to the number 1 spot in 5A Division 1 after their come-from-behind win over Denton Ryan. Frisco Lone Star up to number 2, and A&M Consolidated up to number 3. Denton Ryan tumbles from number 1 to number 4 in the rankings. Everything else more or less the same until you get to number 10. Port Arthur Memorial loses to Galveston Ball. That opens up a spot in the rankings, which is filled by Lufkin. The Panthers of Lufkin are the number 10 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football, 5-1 after the win over Beaumont Westbrook. To 5A Division 2 we go, where the top 8, nothing to see here. Port Neches Groves, South Oak Cliff, Alamo Heights, Texas High, and Argyle are your top 5. By the way, P&G, they just keep beating the allegations. Mm-hmm. They beat Huntsville 24-21, and Jeff Joseph is now 12-0 in one-score games there at P&G. But Huntsville crashes out of the rankings with their loss to P&G, and Melissa crashes out of the rankings with their loss to Lovejoy. New to the rankings, number 9, Lovejoy cracks the rankings at 3-2 with their win over Melissa. And in the number 10, the undefeated 5-0 Montgomery Bears, who got a big win over Montgomery Lake Creek. Keep an eye on Montgomery in that same district with P&G and with Huntsville. Very, very interesting to keep an eye on the Bears. To 4A we go. 4A Division 1, where Stephenville loses to a team from Louisiana, Ruston, Louisiana. And normally with a situation like that, we kind of like measure things. Part of what we're concerned about and why Stephenville drops from number 2 to number 4 in the rankings is that they were functionally non-competitive in this game. 63-17. They really got bludgeoned by Ruston, Louisiana. They tumbled from number 2 to number 4. LBJ moves up to number 2 in the state at 5-0 with a big win over Austin Travis. Alvarado, now the number 3 team in the state, with despite being idle. Chapel Hill up a spot with their win over Palestine. San Antonio Davenport up a spot. Kilgore crashes out of the rankings with their rather surprising loss to Henderson this past week. Longview Pine Tree up a spot to number 9. And new to the rankings at number 10, Sulphur Springs, 5-0. They are new to the rankings there at number 10. 4A Division 2, I told you there were going to be times where it was just like, just like copy-paste. Copy-paste. There were only 3 teams in action. Carthage beat San Benito 56-0 in the weirdest game of the year. Sinton beat Corpus Christi Callan, a good win, and Seminole beat previously unbeaten Hereford. Those were the only 3 teams that played in the top 10. They were all winners, so the top 10 entirely unchanged. Your top 5 remains Carthage, Brock, Gilmer, Sinton, and Seminole. To 3A we go. 3A Division 1, almost entirely unchanged. Top 9 are unchanged. Top 5, Columbus, Malakoff, Bushland, Edna, and Hitchcock remains the same. But Tatum drops out of the rankings with their loss to Liberty Ilo, and that opens up a spot for Liberty Ilo, who is now 4-1 on the year. Their only loss of the year is to Carthage. Good win for Liberty Ilo. They are back in the rankings at number 10. 3A Division 2. East Bernard is your big mover here. They get a win over previously unbeaten Rice Consolidated. That vaults them up to number 2 in the state. We are awfully impressed with what the Brahmas have been able to do. Pope down a spot to number 3. Lexington down a spot to number 4. Wichita Falls City View, despite being idle, has some teams lose in front of them. They vault up to number 8 ahead of their big game this week against Jacksboro. But Rice Consolidated and Canadian crash out of the rankings. Boy, I'd love to know the last time Canadian was unranked.
Mm-hmm.
But two new teams in the rankings. Woodville is 5-1 with a win over Warren. Big win for them. And new to the rankings, Grand Saline at 5-0. Winners over Harmony. They are now state-ranked Grand Saline. To 2A we go. 2A Division 1, nothing to see here. Only 4 teams in action. Refugio beat Riviera Call for like a drum. Ganado, big win over Kennedy. Beckville, big win over Big Sandy. And Honeygrove, big win over Como-Picton. That gives you a chalky 2A Division 1 rankings. Top 5 remain unchanged. Stanford, Refugio, Ganado, Sunray, and Hawley. 2A Division 2, same. Only 4 teams in action here. Mart beats Chilton, Stratford beats Childress, Windthorst beats Monday, and Groover beats Amarillo River Road. So the top 10 remains unchanged, including the top 5. Mart, Stratford, Munster, Collinsville, and Albany. To the 6-man ranks we go, where the top 9 of 1A Division 1 have no change, including your top 5, Gordon, Abbott, Whiteface, May, and Buena Vista. But there is change at the bottom. Lomita crashes out of the rankings with their loss. And new to the rankings, the Panthers of St. Joe in the rankings at 6-0 with a big win over Pear and Witt. I believe previously unbeaten Pear and Witt, 32-30. Good win for them. They are now 6-0 and state ranked at number 10. 1A Division 2 we go, where there are some changes, specifically because of Benjamin's really impressive 106-88 win over Cherokee. Benjamin nudges up a spot to number 5. Richland Springs up to number 2. Oglesby up to number 3. Motley County up to number 4. Cherokee tumbles from number 3 to number 6, just behind Benjamin. And then you had Follett lose this week, and they crash out of the rankings. So Iredell and Strawn each move up a spot to number 8 and number 9, respectively. And new to the rankings, Amherst. The Bulldogs of Amherst are 5-1 with a win over Boys Ranch. They are the number 10 team in 5A or 1A Division 2. To the private school ranks we go, where there is absolutely, positively nothing to see. In 11-man, top 5 remain unchanged. San Antonio Holy Cross, Argyle Liberty Christian, Dallas First Baptist, Fort Worth All Saints, and Houston Kincaid. Argyle Liberty Christian, big game this weekend against Plano Prestonwood. And then the private school 6-man ranks. Huntsville Alpha Omega crashes out of the rankings, which opens up a spot for the Stars of Wichita Christian, newly ranked at 6-0. They beat Fannondale by 50 last week. And so your top 5 is now Houston Emory Weiner, Pasadena First Baptist, Fredericksburg Heritage, Corpus Christi Annapolis, and the newly minted Wichita Christian. So there they are. The Dave Campbell's Texas 5 or 10.
Man. You didn't even say top 5, just 5.
2. There it is, the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football Rankings for Week 7. It's not even Week 5. It would make sense if it was Week 5.
Mm-hmm.
For Week 7. You can find all the rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings, and a reminder that you can deposit all of your critiques at Ashley_Pickle12